Hey Bobcats, here's another great question that I received. I'm going to go ahead and read it. We're going to decipher it and write our system of linear equations to solve. Wolfrich lived in Portland and Brazil for a total period of 14 months in order to learn Portuguese. He learned an average of 130 new words per month when he lived in Portugal, and an average of 150 new words per month when he lived in Brazil. In total, he learned 1,920 new words. Wolfrich lived in Portugal for blank months and lived in Brazil for blank months. All right, so we're looking about the amount of time he lived in Brazil and in Portugal. So let's have P stand for Portugal and B stand for Brazil. And I'm going to break apart that first section. It says that altogether the total amount of time he spent in both places was 14 months. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by writing an equation that says that the amount of time that he lived in Portugal plus the amount of time that he lived in Brazil was 14 months. Now let's take a look at the number of words that he's learned. Okay, it says that he learned 130 new words per month when he lived in Portugal. So we're going to multiply 130 by the number of months he lived in Portugal. This is going to be 130 times P. Now he learned an average of 150 new words in Brazil. So we're going to multiply 150 times the number of months he was in Brazil, which we would say is B. Then altogether, these two places combined, he learns 1,920 new words. All right, so we now have a system of linear equations that we can solve. I know a lot of you, all you needed was this, and now you can solve it. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the process so that those that would like to see it can see how it's done. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for a variable so I can substitute in. I'm just going to choose P and in that first equation. So I'm going to subtract B from both sides, and I get that P is equal to 14 minus B. Now I'm going to take what I now know that P is equal to, and I'm going to plug it in for P over here. So now my equation becomes 130 times this whole thing, 14 minus B, plus 150 B is equal to 1,920. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to multiply 130 times 14. Okay, so this is going to be 1,820, and then I'm going to distribute this as well, so 130B, okay, plus 150B is equal to 1,920. Now I can combine these like terms, so I have negative 130B and positive 150B, so this is going to be 20B, and then that's positive now. I'm going to bring down my 1,820. All right, so now I'm going to solve for B. So I'm going to subtract 1,820 from both sides, and I'm left with 20B and 100. I'm sure you can already see what B is going to be equal to. And it looks like B was equal to 5 months. Okay. Now, if he was in Brazil for 5 months, how long was he in Portugal? We're going to have to say that that was 9 months. Okay. I'm just going to double check and make sure that this works in the second equation. So let me pull up my calculator again. So 130 times the amount of time he was in Portugal, which was 9 months, we think. And then, so let me just make a note of that, 1,170. And then 150 times the amount of time he was in Brazil, which was 5. And I'm going to add these two numbers up just to make sure we're good. And we are. Okay, so that is So we're saying that he was in Portugal for 9 months and in Brazil for 5 months. All right, Bobcats, the questions that are coming in today are awesome. Keep them coming and I'll keep recording videos for you. Have a great day.